a man can be like, that ain't for her, that's just for my kid. A woman can easily come back and be like, this ain't just for this kid. This kid need a place to stay. This kid need food. I got to do all X, Y, and Z for this kid. Like, she not wrong in what she's saying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but it's just
for that part, yeah. But if you're using that same money to go get your hair done, and your child is walking around looking like a wolf is all up in her shit, you know, or your
looking
son,
like she came from camp and ain't been in nobody canoe.
Exactly. You know, he got the run over shoes that's clearly too small for him, but you got on the latest, you know. So I think, I don't know. I don't have those issues. Because my ex-husband, he just ain't going to pay no way, so I don't have them issues at all. But I can see where she's coming from, and it is, I want to read the book. I mean, I think that is, that's important, that even though you do have someone who has a significant other, or you had a child by that person of celebrity status, you know, these are the things that I had to do, you know, to make it through. And maybe she did splurge the additional money that she was getting if you ended up homeless, you know. But again, you should have had something lined up for yourself. Like, you shouldn't be relying on, you know, you shouldn't be relying on what
but I think you just get
for
comfortable.
your child.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
That
you got to
too.
think, like,
That too.
Nas was like, she got all 18, 19 years of that. Like, Nas was already in what he was doing when she had a kid. So she got 18 years. Like, it's easy to get comfortable for that long. You know what I'm saying? We're just like, yeah, I'm gonna probably do something at this time. No, I'm good. I'm gonna do something at this time. Then next thing you know, your daughter graduated from high school and grown. Then it's like, oh shit, like this don't last forever.
Right. That is entitled, again, Life After Child Support, When the Checks Stop Coming, by Carmen Bryant.
Man, I'll be hood rich. That's what I would do.
Hell yeah.
I'll give me a nice crib. Like, that'll be the first thing I do my first year, just get me a crib. So I always got a place to stay. Nothing fancy, just a nice crib to stay. And I'm just stacking. That's it, just stacking. So when my baby good and grown, I got a whole bunch of, you ever been to that one crib where they got a whole bunch of nice-ass shit in that one hood-ass house?
Yeah.
Where it'd be like, damn, how they even get that TV up in here? You know what I'm saying? That couch won't even fit. I would have that type of house.
Well, this happened earlier this month. An internal affairs investigation has concluded that on September the 9th, Officer Amber Geiger did engage in adverse conduct when she was arrested for manslaughter for the fatal shooting of her neighbor. If you remember, she worked a shift or whatever. She came home. She saw that the door was a little ajar after putting the key in the door. She told several stories. Like, at first, she put the key in the door didn't work. Then the door was slightly ajar. She pushed the door open, and she saw this person coming towards her. So the stories did switch up. But what happened was this officer was on the wrong floor, and either she stayed on the third floor and she ended up on the fourth, or she stayed on the fourth and she ended up on the third. But either way, when she saw this person, open the door, she thought, this is my apartment and somebody's robbing me, and she shot him and she killed him. From St. Lucia by the name of Botham Jean. And so she has been fired, and his family is now planning on suing the city of Dallas for civil rights violations. So she was formally charged with manslaughter, but she's been fired as well. That's why at my house, I don't have a lot of visitors, but at my house, if you live here or if you're like really immediate family, you know that there's a secret something that you're about to do. Now, I ain't about to tell you what you're supposed to do, because then somebody listening might figure out where I stay at, and they do that. Then I open the door and they, there they go with a gun to my head. But if you live in the house and you don't have your key, or you're like my mother, like a really close cousin, my grandmother, everybody knows there's something special that you have to do to alert people that you're a family member. Everybody else, nah, cut the lights out, peek out. My son's window was like in the front of the house. Peek out your window. You recognize the car? You recognize the car? Nah, it ain't delivery. Nah, we don't open the door. Don't nobody come in this house. We don't open the door for anybody.
No,
so there's no mistake.
he recognized her. That's why. That's why he opened up his door. They need to run a forensic test on her and see if his DNA come up on her. If you feeling what I'm saying.
You know what? Because if you mistakenly put your key in his hole when you should have put his key in his hole because you had it, you know, yeah, I feel where you're coming from.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because the thing is, it's like when they be investigating murders, and they be like, well, it wasn't no forced entry. So this must be somebody that he knew and was comfortable with. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So he ain't open that door because it was a cop. He opened that door like, oh, snap, here goes Sheila. You know what I'm saying? Girl, I don't know what you've been blowing up my phone for. And shot him up. That's what I think. I think it's a domestic dispute, in my personal opinion.
You all posted on that one right there, which he shed some light. Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But don't nobody call, Dallas PD and be like, look, this is what happened.
They probably
don't know. Well, you might know. I don't know. Rich is on to something, though. He's on to something.
Oh, thank you.
This right here, look, when you was young, you used to ride a school bus to school or you walked to school?
No, I was a school bus kid.
You were a school bus? Yeah, I really can't remember what I was. I think I was a drop off. Then as I got older, I was like, nah, I want to experience, the bus, the city bus or whatever. But
yeah, I was a city bus kid too.
Yeah, I just see kids now on the bus, and I know at my daughter's school they had a sign up, or they got it up, and it's been up for a minute, that they need bus drivers. And if you work in the school, like you work in the office, you're like the secretary or the receptionist, you have to be CDL licensed as well in case they need a backup bus driver. And so somebody was joking with me about when the band goes to games, like we don't have a bus driver this year because the band director is always, he has to drive the truck that has the instruments in it, whatever. And then I have to be on the bus, as a little monitor with the kids in the back of the bus. And the assistant band director is in the front of the bus. We don't have no bus driver. So the visiting schools know this, and they normally send, one of their buses to come get the band. Well, somebody was joking, like, yeah, you should drive the bus to the band. And no, because me and the bus would be on the side of the road letting all these badass kids off. There's no way I could drive the bus. All right? Well, apparently, this bus driver in Indiana, I don't know, maybe she felt that way that day. Kids are always, running their mouths and we tell them to be quiet and they got, just to say to you or whatever. And she probably had a little conversation with some little smart-ass kid and was like, you know what, you think you could do better? You drive this bus. I kind of think that's what happened. But according to USA Today, 27-year-old Jandria McAtee of Indiana, was arrested and charged with neglect of a dependent, which is a felony. She was recording. This looks like somebody on the bus recorded her doing it. 3 students, the ages of 11, 13, and 17. She allowed them to drive the big yellow school bus as she dropped kids off. This was jacked up. Like whoever recorded it put it on Twitter, and then a couple days went by, and they knew, she's gonna have to return the bus back to the bus barn today and pick a check up. So when she went to go get her check, that's when they arrested her.
Damn, dirty. No, the things on buses could be a lot, man.
Yo, I said this bitch.
No, and that was and that was frowned upon too.
What you say?
I said, I think being a bus driver used to be frowned upon. Like, I got a perfect story for you. I was like in 7th grade. Kids being loud, talking shit. This girl was talking about this boy, and she was like, if you don't take care of your homework, you're going to end up being a bus driver.
Oh.
And the bus driver get to laughing himself. Like, ha ha, yeah, you don't want to be no bus driver. I'm like, what?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that was like.
I don't know.
You know how people got like split personalities?
No, but black people got that bad. Like, as long as you're not talking about them directly, they don't apply it to themselves. Like if you be like, yeah, with your broke ass, everybody will laugh. And at least 3 of them people is probably broke that's laughing, but it's not about them. So it doesn't apply.
Right. Well, clearly it applied though. He was driving the bus. But he saw his homework. He elected to be a bus driver. It wasn't because he didn't do his homework in school. He elected to be the bus driver. So yeah, I get it. I would laugh too. So probably the biggest news that has happened this week happened Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of this week when Bill Cosby had to report to jail. Let's back up. He had to report to court for his sentencing. And you know what? I think my first episode we talked about everything that went on, how he even got to that point. And something I read, and I read it a couple times, but I don't know, I have kind of mixed feelings about it. The judge in the case declared Bill Cosby a sexually violent predator.
Come on.
So I'm going to leave that there. His name has to be added to the sex offenders registry, which means that, he can't be around kids and schools and, any place that skating rink, ice cream shop, any place we're going to have kids.
Yeah, where he make his money.
There.
Shit.
Right, exactly. His defense team wanted him to be under house arrest since, he's blind and he walks with a wooden cane. So the prosecutors felt that would be a slap on the wrist for him, especially when he celebrated his birthday this year and his wife threw the huge, lavish birthday party for him. Remember, he was listening to his dad
he was going to jail.
Morning, so they feel like, no, that would be a slap on the wrist because you're under house arrest, but you're still living lavishly. So they also wanted, to impose what the prosecutors wanted was at least 10 years in prison and for him to pay a fine of $25,000. They also want him to undergo lifetime counseling. He's 81.
He ain't got that much life. Yeah. How much lifetime do y'all want?
Okay. And reportedly, he has to report to authorities, quarterly. This is all before he was actually sentenced. This is what the prosecutors
He can't
wanted.
even see what they saying.
Really?
Yeah, I'm ignorant. This guy.
He was so happy on his way in the court. Like, people was hollering, like, we support you, Bill, yada, yada, yada. The people was in front of him to the right. He looked behind him to the left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he know what they doing.
So he was sentenced to 3 to 10 years in prison, and he was transferred to a maximum security facility. It's the Pennsylvania State Correctional Institution of Phoenix, which is in, I'm about to mess this up, like Schwenksville, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Like they just do a prison there. That sounds like Schwenksville. What the hell? But the 81-year-old, when he first got there, he's in a single cell. They did give the dimensions of the cell, but he's in a single cell. He will be allowed to, purchase a television, a radio, and, a tablet so that he can keep up, with emails, watch television. But they have him, right across from the infirmary. You want to be serious, but you can't when you look at everything that they're doing, like a sexually violent predator. Yeah. Or look at the president. Max security. And in Max, they haven't moved him into general population, but they eventually want to be able to do so. But he's among some of the most violent offenders in the state of Pennsylvania.
That ain't even right, man. I mean, y'all gotta come on, man. That's an 81-year-old man. Y'all really fucking with him. I don't want nobody laying the boo game down on Bill Cosby. Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, that ain't for his safety. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't matter what these criminals